This week in trading history, I've been handling these for a little while, but
because you love the trading history and you do a terrific job. But something came up, and I thought to myself, I got to grab this week's trading history one, and you reluctantly let me have it, so I gave you the trading tale, and so let's get to it. This week, 36 years ago, Trading Places, the movie, premiered. And for those who haven't seen the movie and are like the trading, you have to go watch it. It's a classic. It's up there. You know, it's probably better than Wall Street. It's probably better than almost anything else. It's if you're going to work on a trading desk and you haven't seen Trading Places, you're going to miss a lot of the jokes. So let's just let's play.
Well, first of all, the one most important one is the Duke and Duke.
The Duke and Duke, yes. You're going to actually have trouble understanding some of our bets and some of our references if you haven't watched it. So let's go through and let's just play the trailer.
Dan Aykroyd.
This man is physically threatening me.
And Eddie Murphy.
Oh, man,
Are Trading Places.
Find out. I'm going to get to the bottom of this. This has been a grave, grave mistake.
It looked just like the dude that had me busted.
It was not jokes. It was not jokes.
You're a dead man, Valentine.
Dan Aykroyd. Eddie Murphy.
Billy Ray Valentine, Capricorn.
Trading Places. Coming this summer to a theater or drive-in near you.
Now, sell 200 April 142.
All right, Kev, I just have to comment. Back then, this movie is so old that they actually had to insert go to your local movie theater and or drive-through.
I know.
Like half of our millennials don't even know what a drive-through is.
That's right.
Or drive-in. Sorry, I said drive-through. Drive-in is like, but what a classic movie.
Yeah. So now I went and did some digging because I figured that I just can't highlight the movie, and we should find a little bit of the history of this. So a couple of things. First of all, it was originally supposed to star Richard Pryor and Gene Wilder, and it was supposed to be titled Black and White. Okay. But then Richard Pryor unfortunately set himself on fire. That was a little
What
bit.
do you mean?
Go Google that. If you don't know that story, just go Google it. You'll figure it out. He was experimenting with some drug use and had a unfortunate turn of events. Let's go through some other things here that are so funny because I see that Gordon Liddy almost agreed to play Clarence Beeks, and that would have been really sad because then Paul Gleason, who is the guy from Breakfast Club, who ended up being the guy in the gorilla costume, I think that would have been like the role was made for him. And I think that was something that would have, if that would happen, it would have just not been the same. That Paul Gleason was an important part of that movie. But here's where it gets really kind of interesting, is that there was some great cameos that people might not realize. First of all, Bo Diddley played a pawnbroker. Jim Belushi came and was in the gorilla costume, Where is Beaks? That was actually Jim Belushi in there. And then the best part that I like is Al Franken and Tom Davis played baggage handlers. And so, you know how Al Franken was a senator until he got himself into trouble? He was still getting royalties for that in 2012. Isn't that hilarious? Now, the best part, you're going to appreciate this. In 2010, when they went and were putting into effect the Dodd-Frank rule, they put in a kind of a provision in there called the Eddie Murphy rule. You know what the Eddie Murphy rule is?
Please tell me what the Eddie Murphy rule is.
It was, until this point, it was actually not illegal to use misappropriated government information in the commodity markets. So it wasn't illegal what Duke and Duke did. And I remember this actually because I remember Goldman Sachs getting in some trouble for, I think it was an auction on the treasury bonds. It was some news, and there was some question about whether it was technically illegal to use that information that they had realized ahead of time. So it's who would have thought that there was an Eddie Murphy rule? I had no idea.
You know, I learned something new in this week's trading history.
Yeah, well, that's what this week's trading history is all about, buddy.
Yeah.
So anyways, listen, if you haven't seen it, go watch it. And I'll tell you one last story. So I have a son. He's early teenagers, and I was driving the other day with him and his friend was talking to me about classic movies and how he loves the movies from the 80s. And he asked me, "Have you ever seen this movie Trading Places?" And I was like, "Dude, have I ever seen a movie Trading Places? How many times have I seen Trading Places?" And it was great to see the younger generation grabbing hold and loving this movie. He thought it was awesome. I encourage all of our younger listeners to go watch it. It's one of the best movies out there in terms of trading. And just so you know, when Patrick and I do a Duke and Out Duke $1 bet, what we're talking about.
All right. Let's move on. That's awesome. Thanks.